Hey everybody, this is Miss Harrington, and I'm going to go over page 183 from your Unit 5 workbook. This is one of the pages we're using as a study guide for your Unit 5 assessment. Now, with this page, it is a front and back, and then it also has an additional page, and it's going to cover two of the grammar skills that we've talked about during this unit. So at the beginning of the pages, it's going to talk about prepositional phrases and how to use them correctly in sentences. And then on the back and the other page, it's going to go over correlative conjunctions. So with this page, what it's going to do is it's going to give you several different prepositional phrases. Your job in the box below is to identify if this prepositional phrase refers to place, which just means where, refers to time, which means when, and then partner, which actually just means how. So we're going to look at this first one. So it says around the world. So in the directions, it asks us to first circle the preposition in the prepositional phrase. So in this prepositional phrase, the preposition is always the first word of the phrase. So we're going to circle the word around as our preposition. And then we're going to write the function in the box below. So place, time, partner, again, that just means where, when, or how. So around the world would tell me where or place. So we're going to write place in the box. And you can, just to help you out, if you want to put place / where. And then the last thing it wants us to do is use this prepositional phrase in a sentence. So you could say something like this. We traveled around the world. So again, our prepositional phrase is around the world, and it tells us place or where. Where did we travel around the world? So looking at this next prepositional phrase, we have down the hill. So again, we want to circle the preposition, the first word in the phrase, which would be down. Down the hill would also tell us place or where. And then we want to use it in a sentence. So you may say something like, we flew down the hill on our sled. So down the hill is our prepositional phrase, and it tells us place or where. So where did we fly? We flew down the hill. All right, so the next one, at school, also tells us place or where, and this one is a short phrase, so you would just circle at, and then you would write place or where. But let's look at the next one, number 4. This one says after school. So we want to identify the preposition, which again, first word in the phrase, so we're going to circle after. Now for this particular prepositional phrase, this one is going to tell us time or when. So you may say something like, I have practice after school. So after school is your prepositional phrase, and it answers that question of time or when. So when do I have practice? After school. All right, in the mornings would be the same. This discusses time or place. Oh, time or place, I'm sorry. Time or when. And in, first word in our phrase, would be our preposition. Now this last one we see here, with my cousins. So with my cousins is our prepositional phrase. We're going to circle the preposition, first word of the phrase. Now this one actually tells us partner or how. So you may see it in a sentence like this. We went swimming with my cousins. So this is all you're going to have to do on the first part of the study guide. And again, just going over prepositional phrases. So easiest thing to remember here is when you see these words or in the directions, place, time, partner, just remember that that just means where, when, or how. So let's look at the back of page 183. So now we're looking at 184. And this is where it wants us to work with correlative conjunctions. So when we think of correlative conjunctions, I like to call them Batman and Robin words, right? They're two words that work together as a team. They don't separate, and we don't switch the order. Like you always say Batman and Robin, you don't say Robin and Batman. So based on the directions, it wants us to complete the following sentences using the correlative conjunctions from the box. So we have either or, which is when the sentence is giving you a choice or an option. Both and, which is when there are two things in the sentence that are connected to one another or related to one another. Neither nor is like when you use the word not in a sentence. And then not only, but also, this is when you give me a piece of information and then you're going to give me an extra piece of information. So let's look at number 1. So number 1 says, when Gianna moved to Italy, she could blank speak, blank read Italian. So when I look at this sentence, I see that she could speak Italian and she could read Italian. So because these two ideas, two things that she could do, are connected to one another, your best choice here is going to be when Gianna moved to Italy, she could both speak and read Italian. Looking at number 2, everyone at our school does several different jobs. Mr. Jenkins is blank the school librarian, blank a cafeteria helper. So it's telling me that people have several jobs, different jobs at the school. Well, Mr. Jenkins is a school librarian and Mr. Jenkins is a cafeteria helper. So because these two jobs are related to Mr. Jenkins, they're connected to him, we're going to use both and. Mr. Jenkins is both the school librarian and a cafeteria helper. All right, let's look at number 3. We get to choose one game during recess. So we usually choose to play blank kickball, blank basketball. Now look what it tells me at the beginning. It says we get to choose one game. So that means I have to choose, make a choice between kickball, basketball. So because I have to make a choice, we're going to use either or. We usually choose to play either kickball or basketball. And then number 4, most students love 5th grade because it is blank challenging, blank exciting. So when I look at this sentence, I see that the first thing you're telling me about 5th grade is that it's challenging. And you are also telling me about 5th grade that it is exciting. So you're giving me one piece of information about 5th grade, and then you're giving me an extra piece of information about 5th grade. So for this sentence, we're going to use not only, but also. Most students love 5th grade because it is not only challenging, but also exciting. And then the last one, number 5. Blank my mother, blank my father likes it when I argue with my sister. So when I look at this sentence, it wouldn't make sense to say both my mother and my father likes it when I argue with my little sister, because let's be honest, parents don't like it when siblings argue. So what I'm seeing is probably mom does not like it when we argue, dad does not like it when we argue. So because I would be using that word not, if these were two separate sentences, we're going to use neither nor. So neither my mom nor my father likes it when I argue with my little sister. So again, when you think about these words, when you're using either or, that means the sentence has to have a choice. Both and means you have two things are connected or related to each other in some way. Neither nor is like using that word not. And then not only, but also is when you give an extra piece of information. All right, so on the last page of this study guide for prepositional phrases and correlative conjunctions, you simply have to write a sentence of your own using these correlative conjunctions correctly. So with these sentences, again, I'm going to go back to what I just wrote in this box over here. For your sentence number 6, where you have to use either or, you have to have some sort of choice given in your sentence. So it could be something like, we can either have tacos or pizza for dinner. We can either go to the movies or skating on Saturday. Whatever you write here, just make sure you are giving a choice. For number 7, you have to use neither nor. So this is where you're thinking like the word not, okay? So you might say something like, neither my sister nor my brother wanted to watch the movie with me. So I'm saying my sister does not want to watch the movie. My brother does not want to watch the movie. For number 8, this is both and, so you have to have connected items in the sentence. So you may say something like, both my dog and my cat love to play outside. You're telling me that the cat and the dog are connected to each other because they like to do the same thing. And then for the last one, not only but also, this is where you're going to give me an extra piece of information. So you might say something like, not only do I love to go biking, but I also love to go hiking. So you're telling me one thing you love, and then you're giving me an extra piece of information about something else that you also love.